In Brazil, some legends do not stay in the past. They wait in the mist of an old railway village, in the mirror of a school bathroom, and on lonely roads where hoofbeats are heard after dark. Today we step into 3 stories of ghosts, curses, and things you may hear before you ever see them.
Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/Spotify. Terms apply.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Hello, I'm Sarah and welcome to The Whispering Woods. I'm handling this on my own today, as mentioned in the Haunted episode. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/The Whispering Woods, where we have a number of tiers and you can listen in advance and ad-free. We're also on Apple Premium and you can listen ad-free and in advance for $4.99 a month. Right, I'm going to get straight into this. This episode is about Brazilian folklore and it's really good, particularly the last tale, so bear with me. Are you ready for the story? High in the Serra do Mar, surrounded by Atlantic forest and almost constant fog, there's a village in Brazil that does not feel entirely separate from its past. Its name is Paranapiacaba. The word comes from Tupi and is often translated as something like the place from where you can see the sea. Though on many days, seeing anything clearly is part of the problem. The village sits in the municipality of Santo André, in the state of São Paulo, and is famous for the mist that rolls in over the mountains, swallowing rooftops, tracks, gardens, lampposts and hillsides, until the whole place seems to fade in and out of existence. It is beautiful. It is also deeply unsettling. Paranapiacaba began as a railway village, built around one of the most important industrial routes in Brazil's history. In the 19th century, Sao Paulo's coffee economy needed a way to connect the inland plateau with the port of Santos, and that meant crossing the steep, difficult slopes of the Serra do Mar. The solution came through the Sao Paulo Railway, a British-backed project that began construction in the 1860s and opened in 1867, creating a crucial link between Jundiri, Sao Paulo and Santos. The railway transformed the region. It carried coffee, goods, workers, engineers and machinery through terrain that had once made transport slow and punishing. Around the railway infrastructure, Paranapiacaba developed into a company village, shaped by British engineering, railway discipline, and the needs of the workers who kept the system running. Houses were built for employees. Workshops, yards, bridges, tracks, and technical structures became the centre of local life. Even now, visitors can still see the unusual layouts and architecture that make the village feel different from many other places in Brazil. It has often been described as having an English or Victorian character, not because it's a copy of Britain, but because of the railway company that shaped it. Old tracks cut through the settlement. A clock tower rises above the village, one of its most recognisable landmarks, watching over the fog as though time itself has been left there to rust. The clock tower is important to the atmosphere. So are the empty rails. So is the mist. Because Paranapiacaba is not only remembered as a railway village, it's also remembered as a place of stories. The local government itself recognises this side of the village through its legends and myths tourism route, noting how the constant fog, old buildings and railway past helped create a landscape where mystery feels almost natural. This is useful to understand because Paranapiacaba's haunted reputation is not just something invented by outsiders looking for a spooky destination. The village has long carried local legends. Some stories say of railway workers who never really left. Railways can be dangerous places, even when everything goes right. And in places like Paranapiacaba, workers lived alongside machinery, steep terrain, heavy loads, wet weather, and constant moving. The soundscape of a railway village is already ghostly when the engines are gone. Metal settling, wind through old structures, the distant suggestion of wheels on track when no train is moving, footsteps on platforms that should be empty. People have reported hearing strange sounds in the mist, sounds that seem to belong to another century. The echo of a train, a whistle, movement along the tracks, voices near the station or railway yard when no one can be seen. Then there are the figures. Some visitors and storytellers describe shapes moving through the fog, human at first glance, then gone before they can be approached. A dark outline beside the tracks, someone standing near an old building, a worker-like figure disappearing into mist too thick to follow. In a place where visibility changes constantly, ordinary people can become strange silhouettes in seconds, but that does not make the experience feel ordinary to the person who sees it. Mist is one of those great makers of ghost stories. It removes distance. It allows the mind to complete what the eyes cannot. In Paranapiacaba, the fog is not a decorative detail. It is part of the village identity. It arrives suddenly, sometimes reducing the world to only the nearest fence. When that happens, sound behaves differently. A voice seems closer than it is. A footstep echoes oddly. A building appears where moments earlier there seemed to be nothing. One of the recurring themes in modern retellings is that Paranapiacaba becomes most unsettling when the crowds thin and the weather closes in. During the day, it can be full of tourists. But under the fog, especially in quiet hours, the village changes. The old company houses seem to watch from behind damp windows. The clock tower becomes a marker in a world losing its shape. The railway lines vanish into whiteness, as if they still lead somewhere no map can properly show. There are also stories of haunted houses, strange lights, and the feeling of being watched near abandoned or older parts of the settlement. Some accounts mention the old railway workers' homes, others the station area, the clock, or the paths around the village. The exact ghost may differ, but the feeling remains the same. Something is present in the mist, something remembered, something walking where the railway once ruled the day. The power of Paranapiacaba is that it does not need one single famous apparition to work as a haunted place. Its atmosphere carries the story. A village built by foreign engineers in the mountains of Brazil. A railway carved through forest and cloud. Workers living and dying around tracks that connected wealth, labour and distance. Then over time, decline, preservation, tourism and legend, folding over each other until the whole place feels like a memory you can walk through. That makes Paranapiacaba a perfect opening to Brazilian ghost lore. It's not a monster. It's not a summoning ritual. It is a haunted landscape. The past does not seem buried. It seems suspended, hanging in the air, waiting in the mist. One of the most unsettling stories attached to this area is the tale of a guide named João Ferreira. According to the legend, a couple visiting the village were approached by a courteous man who offered to show them around. He seemed to know every corner of the village, from the old railway streets to the historic buildings and the cemetery. And he spoke with a kind of confidence that suggested he had long belonged to the place. After the tour, the couple wanted to thank him properly, but he disappeared before they could do so. When they later asked after him, nobody seemed to know of any living guide by that name. Eventually, the story says, they were told that the only João known in the village was already dead and buried in the cemetery he had shown them. Almost every country has a ghost story that belongs to children. Not because it is gentle, but because children are often the ones who keep it alive. They test it in groups, dare each other to say the name, and then carry the fear home with them long after they insist they were only joking. In Brazil, one of the best known of these stories is Loira de Banheiro, the bathroom blonde. For many Brazilian children, especially in schools, she is the ghost said to wait in toilets, mirrors and locked stalls. She's often compared to Bloody Mary, and the pattern will feel familiar to anyone who grew up with mirror legends. There is usually a ritual. You enter the bathroom. You turn off the lights. You say her name. You knock on doors, flush toilets, open taps, or stare into the mirror until the room feels changed. Then, if the story is true, she appears. The details vary from place to place, which is exactly what happens with urban legends that travel by playground. In some versions, she is beautiful at first glance, a pale blonde woman with long hair and a white dress. In others, the beauty is only part of the trap, because when she comes closer, her face is ruined, her eyes hollow, her skin marked by death. Some say she is soaked in blood. Some say cotton or tissue hangs from her nose or ears. Some say she smells of rot, perfume, damp tile, and old hospital corridors. A school bathroom is not meant to be frightening, yet it's one of the few places children enter alone during the school day. It echoes, it smells of bleach and water. There are mirrors, cubicles, pipes, drains, locked doors and empty spaces beneath stalls where feet might be seen before a face ever appears. In the middle of a noisy school, the bathroom can feel strangely separate, as if the ordinary rules outside the door have paused. The ritual also changes depending on who tells it. Some children say you must flush the toilet 3 times. Others say you must knock on the mirror. Some say you must swear at her, say her name aloud, or place strands of hair and pieces of tissue in the sink. Other versions say she appears if someone disrespects the bathroom, skips class, smokes, or plays with forces they do not understand. Whatever the steps, the heart of the legend is always the same. The bathroom is empty, and it is not. Like many urban legends, Loira de Banheiro has several supposed origins, but the most widely repeated links her to a real young woman named Maria Augusta de Oliveira Borges, who lived in the 19th century and came from Guaratinguetá in São Paulo state. Her life, as retold in Brazilian sources, already contains the kind of sadness that easily becomes legend. Maria Augusta was born into a wealthy family. According to the commonly told version, she was married very young to a much older man. But the marriage was unhappy, and she eventually left Brazil for Europe. She died young, often said to have died in Paris, and her body was later returned to Brazil. In one persistent version, Maria Augusta's body was kept for a time in the family home before burial, because her mother could not bear to part with her. Eventually the house became connected to a school, and from there the story of a dead blonde woman haunting bathrooms began to spread. The young woman sent away from one life, dying far from home, returned across the sea, then remembered by generations of school children, not by her name, but by her hair, and the place she is said to haunt. That is how folklore transforms people. It reduces a life into symbols: blonde hair, a mirror, a locked stool, a warning. The bathroom ghost also reflects the fears of adolescents. Children and teenagers are surrounded by rules, shame, dares, body changes, and spaces where adults are absent for a few minutes. A school bathroom is private and public at the same time. It is where secrets are told, tears are hidden, cigarettes are smoked, messages are written, friendships are tested, and bullying can happen out of sight. So when a legend says a dead woman waits there, it gives shape to the unease already present. Loira de Banheiro is not usually described as kind. She's a punishing ghost, a presence summoned carelessly or encountered by those who treat the space wrongly. Some versions say she scratches, frightens or kills. Others say she only appears in the mirror, close enough to terrify, but gone when the light returns. There are stories of children locking themselves in stalls, refusing to come out after a dare, convinced they heard water running by itself or saw a face behind them in the glass. The image is simple, which is why it lasts. A child stands in a bathroom. The mirror is dark. The tap begins to run. A pale woman appears behind them, and for one impossible second, they know the story is true. In some tellings, she's said to move through school bathrooms after hours, turning taps on, knocking against all doors, and making herself known through small sounds that are easy to dismiss until they happen again. In some versions, students claim she asked for water, a detail that gives the legend a sadder edge, especially when connected to the story of Maria Augusta. It makes the bathroom blonde feel less like a simple dare, and more like a restless presence tied to one particular grief. A dead woman returned home, still thirsty, still unsettled, and still heard in the places children are most afraid to enter alone. Not all ghosts wait quietly in mirrors or mist. Some arrive screaming. Across Brazil, one of the most striking figures in folklore is a Mula sem Cabeça, the headless mule. The name carries the image plainly enough, a mule with no head, galloping through the night with fire pouring from the place where its head should be. It's one of those legends that feels impossible to soften. There is no gentle version of it, no wistful figure at a window, no pale woman fading into the fog. The headless mule belongs to darkness, punishment, fire, hoofbeats, and terror heard before it's seen. The story varies across Brazil, but the most common version says the creature is not truly an animal at all. It's a cursed woman. In many tellings, she is a woman who had a forbidden relationship with a priest and is punished by transforming into a monstrous mule on certain nights, often from Thursday into Friday, when she is forced to run through fields, roads, villages, or parishes until the curse releases her and she becomes human again. That religious element matters. The legend carries the weight of Catholic morality, colonial fear, and old ideas about sin, secrecy, and punishment. It's not only a monster story, it's also a warning. A woman breaks a sacred boundary, and the body becomes the site of judgment. At night she changes. Her human form is lost. Her head disappears. Fire erupts from the neck. Some versions say she breathes flame from invisible nostrils. Others say the fire pours constantly from the stump where her head should be, lighting the road before her as she runs. She wears iron or silver horseshoes. Her hooves strike the ground so hard that people hear her long before they see her. She neighs, screams, or wails with a sound that is said to be half human and half animal. A cry of rage, pain, and punishment all at once. The sound is one of the most important parts of the folklore. People may not see the headless mule clearly. They may glimpse only sparks through trees, or hear hooves racing along a road after midnight, or wait to the awful cry passing beyond the house. In rural legend, sound often carries the supernatural farther than sight. A scream in the dark lets the imagination do the rest. And what the imagination creates is terrible. A body with no face, a creature that should be dead but is running, a flame where life should be. The headless mule is often said to travel a fixed route, sometimes through 7 parishes or across certain roads before dawn. She cannot rest while transformed. She is driven by the curse, forced onwards through the night. In some places, people believe that if you saw her, you should lie face down, hide your teeth and nails, or stay completely still until she passed, because if she noticed you, she might attack. Other versions say there are ways to break the curse. A brave person might remove the iron bit from her mouth, draw blood from her with a sharp object, or confront her before dawn. If the curse is broken, the mule becomes a woman again, often naked, exhausted, weeping or ashamed, with no memory of what she has done, or with full knowledge of the punishment she has endured. The rescuer may then discover that the monster was someone known in the community, perhaps a woman already whispered about, perhaps someone nobody suspected. This is one reason the legend is so effective. It makes the monster intimate. The headless mule is not some distant beast from an unknown wilderness. She may be someone from the village, someone who attends mass, someone who passes you in daylight with downcast eyes, someone whose night self is terrible enough that no one wants to ask too many questions when hoofprints appear near the road. In older communities, this kind of tale did social work. It warned against forbidden relationships, reinforced religious authority, and placed fear around sexuality. But folklore often outgrows the moral lesson attached to it. Over time, the image becomes stronger than the warning. And the image of Mula sem Cabeça is unforgettable. Imagine a road at night where somewhere beyond the last house, the air hot, insects loud, trees close on either side. Then, far away, hoofbeats begin. At first they are faint enough to mistake. Then they grow faster, harder, too fast for any ordinary mule. A red light appears between the trees, rising and falling with the rhythm of the gallop. Then the screams come. Not from a throat, not from a mouth, from the fire itself. By the time the creature passes, the ground trembles, sparks scatter, and anyone hiding nearby knows better than to lift their head until the sound has vanished. It's not subtle, but it's deeply rooted. It belongs to rural roads, church bells, Friday dawns, whispers about priests and women, and the terrible idea that sin does not simply stain the soul, but transforms the body into something that can be heard crossing the land at night. There is also sadness beneath the horror. The woman at the centre of the legend is rarely given much mercy. She's cursed, exposed, transformed, and forced to suffer. In many versions, the man involved in the forbidden relationship is not punished in the same monstrous way, which says something about the world that carried the story forward. Folklore preserves fear, but it also preserves unfairness. The headless mule is frightening because she burns. She is tragic because she burns alone. And she still runs through fields, past churches, along lonely roads, across the edges of towns where people shut their doors and listen until the hoofbeats fade. She is not waiting to be summoned, she's already coming. And if you hear hooves after midnight, fast enough to shake the road, and see flame where an animal's head should be, the old advice is simple. Do not speak, do not run. And whatever you do, do not look too closely at the woman she becomes when morning comes.
Okay, caller 1 wins courtside seats to tonight's game.
What? I won floor seats?
You did.
I've been calling for 13 months.
Wait, Chris?
Yes, I finally did it.
What are you going to wear?
Men's Warehouse. They've got today's looks for any occasion, and I need to look like a celebrity.
Don't want to stick out.
Exactly. They've got Chill Flex by Kenneth Cole, Joseph Abboud, and a tailor at every store for the perfect fit.
Congrats. You can stop calling now.
Not a chance.
Get any look for every occasion at Men's Warehouse. Love the way you look.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft.
I thought it was safe.
If that happens, LifeLock gives you a U.S.-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims, your agent handles it all. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed, or your money back. Isn't it nice to have someone like that on your side? Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/Pandora. Terms apply.
Just how unfair. How unfair. The priest. He's alright, he gets off scot-free by the sound of it. But that poor woman is to run through the streets with no head, as a mule, breathing out fire. It does really say a lot, doesn't it? But I'm not going to go into that. I'll let you guys decide on what you feel and think about that. I hope everybody's doing okay as well, because what? More going on. We've got more going on. I'm not going to go on about it. I just want you to know that we are here for folklore and fear. And that I also hope you are doing okay. Well, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you again on Thursday. Take care, everyone.
Okay, caller 1 wins courtside seats to tonight's game.
What? I won floor seats?
You did.
I've been calling for 13 months.
Wait, Chris?
Yes, I finally did it.
What are you going to wear?
Men's Warehouse. They've got today's looks for any occasion, and I need to look like a celebrity.
Don't want to stick out.
Exactly. They've got Chill Flex by Kenneth Cole, Joseph Abboud, and a tailor at every store for the perfect fit.
Congrats. You can stop calling now.
Not a chance.
Get any look for every occasion at Men's Warehouse. Love the way you look.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft.
I thought it was safe.
If that happens, LifeLock gives you a U.S.-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims, your agent handles it all. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Isn't it nice to have someone like that on your side? Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/Pandora. Terms apply.
The stories told on the Whispering Woods are inspired by historical records, witness reports, and local folklore. While every effort is made to research and represent events accurately, some details, names, and locations may differ from official accounts or have been changed out of respect for those involved. These episodes are created for storytelling and entertainment purposes and should not be considered definitive fact or investigative journalism.